Hello everyone, this is Art 5, the human experience. Um, you guys might notice something. I'm not Nathan, I'm Caden, and I'm just helping Nathan out with this. So if anyone else wants to help and come on and just like read this stuff for Nathan, help my best friend out, then he is very much looking for people to do that. By the way, just in case, you guys need something to watch on YouTube. I similarly have videos. Well, not academic videos, but you know. So, my YouTube is Kaden Likes Cars. Just in case if you guys want to watch something. So, the innovators of the environmentalist ideology. The innovators of the environmentalist ideology, Henry David Thoreau, John Muir, and Otto Leopold, envisioned the experience of nature from a solitary perspective, pondering similar conclusions on actions to take on nature. However, the solitary perspective is influenced by many factors, such as gender and race, that these early privileged white men couldn't think of. Environmental visual art aims to focus on the subjective human perspective of climate change and science, and to speak up from the silenced minority groups, such as the previously mentioned gender and race. Alma Woodsy Thomas was an African American artist and teacher who was born in Columbus, Georgia. Due to racial oppression in Georgia, 16-year-old Thomas and her family moved to Washington, D.C. Continuing her education in Washington, D.C., she graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine art at Howard University, being the first graduates of the university's newly established fine arts program. For 35 years, she was an art teacher at Shaw Junior High School in D.C., getting her master's in art education. Once she retired from teaching, she shifted her attention to painting, going from figurative art of the real world to abstract art that focused on shape and color. Her biggest accomplishment was being the first black woman to have a solo exhibition at the Whitney Museum of American Art. Thomas's space paintings and earth paintings, created in the late 1960s and early 1970s, reflect the environmental consciousness of the time. Lady Bird Johnson's National Beautification and Campaign and President Lyndon B. Johnson's environmental laws, such as the Clean Air Act and Wilderness Act, and two national parks, Northern Cascades and Redwood aligned with Thomas's belief in beauty as essential to community well-being. The broader environmental movement of Thomas's era often overlooked the struggles of urban and minority communities. A critique The broader environmental movement of Thomas's era often overlooked the struggles of urban and minority communities. A critique Nathan Hare highlighted in his 1970 essay Black Ecology, which helped ignite the environmental justice movement. While these politically charged efforts addressed social and ecological inequities, Thomas's art took a distinctly different path. Because of this focus, her work is rarely classified as contemporary eco-art, which frequently engages with the ethical dimensions of environmental and racial justice. Instead, Thomas deliberately avoided themes of injustice, choosing to celebrate beauty and happiness through vibrant, abstract compositions. Rejecting depictions of man's inhumanity to man, she aimed to awe and inspire wonder, emphasizing the interconnectedness of life and the universe in her uplifting painting. Snoopy Early's Sun display on Earth exemplifies Alma Woodsy Thomas's new abstract style, through the thematic focus on cosmic and terrestrial connections. Part of her space painting series, the artwork initially appears as a solid sphere against a dark void, evoking a planet in deep space. Closer inspection reveals an ambiguous surface where light reflects and passes through, suggesting that the sphere is neither entirely solid nor floating in isolation. Thomas used inch-wide dabs of paint, Intric- intric- Thomas used inch-wide dabs of paint intricately arranged to create texture, symbolizing a planet teeming with life while avoiding distinctions like continents or countries. This interplay of ambiguity and depth invites viewers to experience the piece as both vast and intimate. The universal nature of the art piece allows it to be interpreted into more human perspectives. Thomas's space paintings were heavily inspired by the images of Earth taken during NASA's Apollo 10 and 11 missions. The title of Snoopy Early Sun Display on Earth references the Snoopy lunar module from the Apollo 10, linking her work to the groundbreaking exploration of space. This connection reflects Thomas's ability to merge local and global perspectives, drawing from her life in Washington, D.C., while capturing humanity's awe of the cosmos. By integrating vibrant colors, spherical forms, and her signature dabbing technique, Thomas created a flickering effect that bridges the terrestrial and celestial realms, uniting themes of nature and the universe. Ana Mendita and the United Silhouette series, 1978. Ana Mendita was a Cuban American artist whose work explored themes of identity. This, bro, literally, why did I even pause? Why did I even pause? Ana Mendita was a Cuban American artist whose work explored themes of identity, displacement, and the relationship between body and nature. Born in Havana, Cuba in 1948, Mendita left her homeland at the age of 12 through Operation Pedro Ban, a program led by the Catholic Charities that transported unaccompanied children out of Fidel Castro's Cuba. This program relocated 14,000 children to the United States, including Mendita and her sister Jacqueline, who spent 5 years in foster homes in Iowa. They later reunited with their mother and brother, though it took another 13 years before reconnecting with their father. Mendita's exile deeply influenced her artistic vision as she sought to reconcile her North American and Cuban identities through multimedia performances and earthworks. After earning a bachelor's and master's degrees at the University of Iowa, she completed a Master's of Fine Arts in the university's Multimedia and Video Art program. Early works and performance art. Mendita, bro, I literally change her name every time I say her name. Oh my god. Rebecca Belmore and Ayam E. Awaj Omama Owen speaking to their mother. Rebecca Belmore, a prominent indigenous artist from the Lac-Seul First Nation, has gained international recognition for her work addressing social and political issues affecting indigenous communities. Born in Uppsala, Ontario, Canada, in 1960, Belmore's early experiences shaped her artistic vision. After leaving her small hometown for Thunder Bay, where she attended a predominantly white high school, Belmore spent her summers with her maternal grandmother, who lived a traditional life by harvesting food from the land. These formative years deeply connected Belmore to her indigenous heritage and the land, laying the foundations for her later works. Encouraged by a teacher to enter her local art contest, Belmore's victory led her to enroll in the Ontario College of Art. While in art school, Belmore developed alter egos for her performance art, using them as a means of highlighting the sculptures and histories of indigenous peoples in North America. Her multidisciplinary practice spans performance, video, sculpture, and photography, and her art has garnered significant attention, with Belmore being invited to join the Royal Canadian Academy of Arts and receiving Canada's prestigious Governor General's Award in Visual and Media Arts. In 2005, Belmore made history as the first Indigenous artist to represent Canada at the Venice Biennale. I am E. Awach Omama Owen speaking to their mother and the Oka crisis. Belmore's art often responds to the political and social conditions of their indigenous communities. A notable example of this is I Am E Awaj or Mama Owan speaking to their mother, created in 1991 in response to the Kahanawak standoff, part of the broader Oka crisis. The Oka crisis, which lasted from July to September 1990, was a protest led by 55 Mohawk individuals against the construction of a golf course and townhomes on disputed lands, which included an indigenous burial ground. The crisis ended after intervention from the Canadian Army, and while the federal government purchased the land to halt construction, it was not designated as a Mohawk reserve, leaving the land dispute unresolved. In response, Rebecca Belmore created a large megaphone titled I Am E Awash Omamam Owan, meaning speaking to their mother. Made from wood and animal hide, the cone-shaped piece measures 6 feet wide and 7 feet long. Some performances included an electronic amplifier, allowing for voices to be amplified up to 9 times their natural volume. The first performance took place near Johnson Lake in Alberta, where Belmore and other participants carried the megaphone through the forest, directing it towards the Rocky Mountains. Belmore began speaking directly to the land, followed by indigenous leaders, activists, and poets who added their voices. Unlike traditional art objects created solely for viewing, speaking to their mother functions as a tool for social interaction, inviting anyone to engage in a direct dialogue with the land. Belmore, like Andana Mendita, views the land as maternal, emphasizing its nurturing, life-sustaining qualities. This perspective challenges the conventional notion of site-based sculpture, which is typically static. In contrast, speaking to their mothers invites movement and interactions, and collective participation. This dynamic approach aligns with Vanessa Watt's concept of place thought, which views the land as alive, imbued with agency, and capable of thought. In this framework, both humans and non-humans engage in a mutual dialogue with the land, transforming it from a passive backdrop to an active participant. Belmore's work also fosters space for diverse indigenous voices, encouraging a range of perspectives to speak into the megaphone. Unlike in art galleries, often analyzed by critics outside the cultures they represent, her inclusive approach invites direct participation, amplifying marginalized voices and creating a platform for indigenous experiences and concerns. Reflecting on the significance of 1992, the 500th anniversary of Columbus's arrival, Barmore emphasized the importance of engaging with Native communities, where she noticed people often faced away from the megaphone, choosing instead to look at the land. This act, she explained, transformed political protest into poetic action, urging participants to address the land directly. Originally installed at Banff National Park, Belmore's megaphone was later toured across Canada and the United States in 1992 and 1996 due to the significance of the 500th anniversary of Columbus. As it evolved, the piece continued to engage audiences, fostering dialogue about indigenous land rights, cultural preservation, and the ongoing struggles for recognition and respect.
While editing the video, I had to sub in because my Sheen mandatory volunteer can't say Mendita, so I'm here. Mendita began using her body as a sculptural medium in the early 1970s. She documented transformations by pressing her face against plexiglass, altering her appearance with makeup and facial hair, and sometimes covering her head with nylon stockings. These experimental works paved the way for her later earthworks, pieces like Grass on Woman, where she lay face down in grass and covered herself with cut grass, anticipated the techniques used in her Silhouette series. Similarly, Feathers on Woman and Chicken Peace reflected her interest in ritual mythology, drawing on Mesoamerican and Cuban Santeria traditions. In Feathers on Woman, Mendita covered herself in chicken feathers to emulate Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent of Mesoamerican mythology. In Chicken Peace, she used the blood of a decapitated chicken in a ritualistic performance, evoking Cuban Santeria ceremonies. These works also resonated with post-World War II avant-garde performances by artists like Carl Lee Schneemann and the Vietnamese actionists, who incorporated danger, bodily fluids, and raw materials in their art. In 1973, Mendita traveled to Oaxaca, Mexico, to study pre-Columbian cultural sites, connecting them to her Cuban heritage. She believed these sites had a religious atmosphere that paralleled her memories to Cuba. This period marked a turning point as Mendita began creating site-specific bodyworks that integrated sacred and secular symbols. Her work blended elements of Roman Catholicism and pre-Columbian traditions, reflecting her interest in cultural hybridity. One notable piece, Flowers on Body, involved Mendita lying nude in a shallow grave at an archaeological site. Her collaborator placed white flowers over her body and photographed the scene before authorities intervened. This work emerged symbols of life and death, linking it to pre-Columbian culture and emphasizing symbolic connections over archaeological accuracy. The Silhouette series, which Mendita began in 1973, marked a transformative moment in her artistic practice. Created in Mexico and Iowa, these works featured body outlines formed on the ground using materials such as gunpowder, leaves, and mud. These ephemeral creations extended her exploration of performance, gender, and violence into the realm of ecology. Designed to disappear with wind or water, the silhouette stood in stark contrast to the enduring, disruptive intervention of traditional earthworks. Mendita's approach to nature diverged sharply from that of contemporaries like Robert Smithson, who she criticized for brutalizing nature with large-scale projects such as Spiral Jetty. Instead, she embraced a more intimate engagement with the land, seeking to connect with the Earth's universal material energy. Viewing her silhouettes as a dialogue between the female body and the landscape, Mendita linked this connection to her own experience of displacement from Cuba. Through the use of natural materials, she sought to reconnect with the universe and return to a primal material source.
Mel Chin is an Asian American artist born in Houston, Texas in 1951 to Chinese immigrant parents. He was the first in his family born in the United States. Chin studied at the Peabody College of Vanderbilt University and has since become known for his interdisciplinary approach, blending multiple artistic mediums such as sculpture, earthworks, animation, installation, film, collage, and performance. Over the years, Chin has received numerous prestigious fellowships and awards, including the National Endowment for the Arts, John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation, and the MacArthur Fellows Program. Notable works by Chin: Seesaw, 1976. In Seesaw, Chin buried two 6-foot by 6-foot boxes in Houston's Herman Park, connected by an underground hydraulic system. When stepped on, one box would sink while the other one would rise, creating a playful, interactive experience. The work blends minimalism and earthworks while encouraging social engagement. By connecting landscape manipulation, childhood memories, and visual perception, the piece invites participation and reflection. Its minimalistic design and playful nature allows it to be universally received, engaging a wide audience through both simplicity and interaction. In the Name of Place, Gala Committee. Chin was part of the Gala Committee, a collaboration between the University of Georgia and the California Chin was part of the Gala Committee, a collaboration between the University of Georgia and the California Institute of Arts, From 1995 to 1997, the committee placed 200 objects on the set of the Melrose Place, aiming to expand the audience's aesthetic horizons. By using the television studio as a platform for artistic exploration and education, the project sought to engage a wide viewership. Afterward, the objects were exhibited at the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art and auctioned as Sotheby's, with proceeds benefiting the educational charities in Georgia and California. Similar to Seesaw, In the Name of Place used the recognition of television to make the artwork more universally accessible. The project prompted viewers to critically examine the influence TV has on their perspectives, encouraging deeper reflection on the intersection of media and art. Fundred Project. The Fundred Project, initiated by Chin in response to the lead polluted lead oh my god, lead is crazy, man. The Fundred Project, initiated by Chin in response to the lead-polluted water crisis in New Orleans following Hurricane Katrina, aims to raise awareness about childhood lead poisoning. With over 500,000 participants, both children and adults, creating drawings of $100 bills, the project fosters a sense of collective action and engagement. Much like Seesaws and In the Name of Place, the Fundred Project encourages social participation, using art as a tool to unite diverse voices around a common cause. Revival Field, 1991. Chin's Revival Field tackles soil contamination from heavy metals, using Gillespie, a metal hyperaccumulator plant, to absorb cadmium from polluted soil. Collaborating with agronomic how do you even say that word? Collaborating with agronomist Rufus Chaney, Chin created this ongoing project at the Pig's Eye landfill in St. Paul, Minnesota, where the plants were arranged in a circular pattern. Similar to Seesaw and In the Name of Place, Revival Fields invites engagement with the environment, but with a focus on ecological restoration rather than simply altering the landscape. This project marks a shift from traditional earthworks, which often manipulate the land without benefiting it ecologically. By actively improving the environment and demonstrating how art can address pressing environmental issues, like Chin's other works, Revival Field emphasizes collective action, using natural systems to heal and transform the land while engaging audiences in a broader conversation about ecological responsibility. The Arctic is 2015. Produced during the COP21 UN Paris Climate Change Conference, The Arctic is a powerful film that focuses on the global impact of climate change. Featuring Inuit hunter Jens Danielson, the film underscores how the Arctic's melting ice is a critical factor in altering the environmental conditions worldwide. In a memorable scene, Danielson pulls a dog sled through the streets of Paris, a striking visual that connects the distant Arctic to the global climate crisis. This work, much like Chin's Revival Field and Fundred Project, encourages viewers to recognize their collective responsibility in tackling environmental challenges. Just as Chin's piece used participation and interaction to foster awareness, the Arctic extends the conversation by highlighting the interconnectedness of global ecosystems, urging action and reflection on part of the individuals across the world. Unmoored, 2018. Unmoored is a mixed reality artwork created by Mao Chin that invites participants to experience a vision of a flooded Times Square, symbolizing the future consequence of climate change. The project was released in the summer of 2018 as a digital app, allowing users to explore the city under 26 feet of water. This apocalyptic scene is made interactive through the use of smartphones and physical movement, where users can navigate the submerged streets and view the changes from different perspectives. The piece utilizes mixed reality technology, blending real-world elements with digital experiences. The app allows participants to see floating boats, symbolizing a world after New York has been submerged. LED billboards in Times Square still display advertisements for consumer goods, emphasizing the role of consumption in contributing to environmental degradation. This work encourages participants to consider their role in climate change and prompts reflection on personal consumption and waste. Chin's use of moving image technology in Unmoored differs from traditional documentaries or data-driven climate forecasts. Instead of presenting passive information, Unmoored creates an immersive, participatory experience that allows users to engage with the content and take a more active role in reflecting on the impact of their actions. Context and themes. Unmoored was released following the increasing scientific consensus that human behavior is permanently altering the planet's ecological balance. While earlier debates existed about whether humans could impact the Earth's environment, the reality of climate change became undeniable in the late 20th century. Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, 2006, played a significant role in educating the public about the climate crisis. Yet despite increased awareness, meaningful action was still lacking. Chin's Unmoored responds to this inaction by creating a digital space where participants can experience a tangible future impacted by climate change. Unlike traditional media, which often relies on static representations or data, Unmoored is an active participatory work that encourages the audience to take responsibility for their personal actions and reflect on how those actions affect the broader environment. Wake, 2018. Chin exhibited Unmoored alongside another installation called Wake, which featured a 21-foot animatronic sculpture resembling a beached whale combined with a sunken ship. Together, these works promote reflection on the environmental crisis and urge viewers to reconsider their daily consumption habits. They also aim to inspire collective action and political change in response to the climate crisis. Through these works, Chin seeks to foster coalitions capable of demanding political action to address climate change. The immersive interactive nature of Unmoored contrasts with traditional passive viewing experiences, making the project a powerful tool for engaging individuals in the fight against climate change. Okay. Latoya Ruby Frazier is an African American artist and active born Oh my god. Ah! Latoya Ruby Frazier is an African American artist and activist born in Braddock, Pennsylvania in 1982. Raised in her grandmother's house in one of Braddock's poorest neighborhoods, Frazier developed an early passion for drawing and painting. She later studied at Edinburgh University and Syracuse University, where she earned her Master of Fine Arts degree. Frazier's artistic practices span multiple mediums, primarily photography, but also video, performance, installation, and artist books. Her work is deeply rooted in issues of social justice, especially focused on the Rust Belt region, that has experienced severe industrial decline since the 1950s. Braddock, where she grew up, became a focal point of her work. Frazier teaches at the Art Institute of Chicago and has received prestigious fellowships, including the John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation and the MacArthur Foundation. Frazier was also the first recipient of the Gordon Parks Foundation / Steele Book Prize for her book Flint is Family in 3 Acts, which documents the struggle faced by working-class families during the Flint, Michigan water crisis. Artistic influences and themes. Frazier draws inspiration from Gordon Parks an African American photographer and filmmaker who famously called his camera his weapon of choice in addressing racism and inequality. Frazier's approach often uses the family photo album format to critique larger cultural and systemic issues. This format has historical roots dating back to the invention of didgeridoo. Oh my god, didgeridoo. That what? I never. Oh, I used to say didgeridoo, but that's not didgeridoo. This format has historical roots dating back to the invention of the daguerreotype in the 19th century and has typically been used to capture intimate portraits of loved ones. Frazier uses this format to tell the stories of her family and community, especially those that have been historically neglected or erased from mainstream American narratives. Key projects: A Notion of Family, 2001 to 2014. In this early project, Frazier adopts the personal family photo album format to address larger issues such as industrial decay and the impact of environmental toxicity in Braddock. The photographs include portraits of her family members alongside images of decaying buildings, including the Edgar Thomson Steelworks. This project critiques the system neglect of the Rust Belt region and the health issues Frazier and her family face due to prolonged exposure to toxic metals. Flint is Family, 2016 to 2017. Frazier's Flint is Family responds to the 2014 Flint water crisis, where the city's water supply was switched from Lake Huron to the polluted Flint River, leading to lead contamination. Frazier spent 5 months in Flint, connecting with 3 generations of the Cobb family, including Shia, a poet and school bus driver, Miss Renee, Shia's mother, and Zion, Shia's daughter. One poignant image from the series shows all 3 women in a close embrace. Frazier's work documents the Cobb family's personal experiences and focuses on environmental racism, which places undue environmental burdens on the communities of color. Her approach counters the typical transient nature of documentary photography by building lasting relationships with the people she photographs. Book and further acts. Frazier later expanded the project into a book titled Flint is Family in 3 Acts. The book's 3 acts explore different stages of the Cobb's family experiences and struggles. Act 1. Photos from Frazier's time in Flint, shot in black and white. Bear witness to the effects of the crisis and reclaim the history of the community. Act 2. The second act follows Shea and Zion Cobb to Newton, Mississippi, where the family's ancestral home is located. In Mississippi, they drink fresh water directly from the land, contrasting Flint's contaminated water crisis. Act 3. Frazier returns to Flint in color photographs. Documenting the continued lack of safe water and the efforts to address the issue, she collaborated with local poet Amber Hassan and documented residents drinking water from a 13-ton atmospheric water generator, which was sent from a military base in Texas. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not paid. I'm not a paid actor. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. And if you... No, I'm not done.